Janetta. Haircut like Anita Baker.
Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the April 26, 2025 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, or catching up with us on replay. And we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy. Nice as in the word saint spelled backwards. And today, well, we have a guest to the show. Your name, Walk up. Why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know who you are.
Brother Walk, I'm
here. Anyways, nice to say we got Brother Walk in the house from a long sabbatical, star of Sex Talk with Walk Thursday at 9 p.m. Grown heterosexual.
Everybody know who Walk is?
Let's get them, girls.
Brother asshole Floyd. Because of you, I lost 8 pounds. How about that, dude? Yes, you asshole, you effort. I saw that joke.
First Lady J.
Yeah.
Yes,
welcome back, sister. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
I told you to get him started, man. Don't get him started. Hey, be quick on the trigger, man. I see him reaching for a shirt. But go ahead. What's happening with you, First Lady J?
I'm well, just ready to get my day started. I have a lot going on. I have a meet and greet going on with my sisterhood chapter. We're meeting from state to state virtually. And we're trying to get an Ain't No Hood Like Brotherhood started. Hopefully you guys are biting, maybe jump on the bandwagon. We need an Ain't No Hood Like Brotherhood.
Hey, when is going to be that Focus Help Brotherhood versus Sisterhood show where we talk about some serious type situations? We talk about that. We talk about that other thing.
Well, we're working on that.
Student X, live from the dojo. What's going on with you, brother?
What's good, fam? Just excited to be here as always. A little disappointed in the Lakers losing yesterday, but very happy that LeBron put such a strong effort out. So we'll talk about it.
You jumping the gun, my brother. But Afro Agnostics, what's going on, my brother?
Man, I'm just counting down the days.
Counting down the days.
Yeah, prepping and planning for the summer. Trying to get up out of here, do some things, fitness goals and whatnot, man. Don't feel bad, the Pistons down too. Y'all got me watching it now, so.
I told you about Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Hey, both of them. I told you about Houston and Detroit. Both of them got those. They got one of those brothers on the Twins. So that's just showing you something that the Twins have turned those franchises around. But infamous El Poo, what's going on with you, brother? What it do?
Yeah, I'm just blessed and happy to be here once again. Hey, Cram Karn, the 6th. What's going on, brother?
And that's infamous El Poo, star of Spin That Back. And we're going to have a Spin That Back later on today. And who we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about the ultramagnetic MCs. I'm going to let y'all talk about them because I don't really know.
I'm going to educate you. Hey, you going to be participating you going to be around for that Afro Agnostics? You going to be able to do that?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to do that. Definitely.
That's what's up. Shoot, hey, brother Walk, you gonna be here for Afro? You gonna be there for the ultramagnetic?
Hey, when I seen that's who we was doing, when I seen that was who was the topic, I was like, y'all don't know nothing about the ultramagnetic MCs.
Sounds like a challenge. That's what's up. Yeah, and of course, Student X, you got an invitation if you want to be a part of that. Mr. Boss Man, boss. I can say it now. How you doing there, sir?
I'm chilling, man. All good. Just ready for this show to get going and get cracking. Hopefully we got 2 more guests coming on the show. We're going to have a big, long dialogue, strong dialogue, some strong dialogue communication. Brother Afro Agnostic, he gonna speak his piece. And Brother Student Next, Brother Student Next gonna go in and he got a lot to say. And Mr. Walk, We got Mr. Walk is back. Come on, man. This is the show today. We got Walk back. Walk is back.
Yeah. Let's go. You see the heart. Yeah.
What's going on?
Still looking for love. Sex over Walk every Thursday.
Big Cuz, what's up? But this right here gonna get you blocked, bro. Knock it off. And yep, I'm still a Walk's joke. But anyways, so that having been said, let's get to the get. First thing up, we're gonna talk about Pope Francis. I don't remember exactly what number he is. I guess it's the same like the Super Bowl. I apologize for that, but suffice it to say, he passed away. This is a person that was very widely revered. I mean, just being the Pope is going to get you revered, but this was somewhat of a progressive Pope. They considered, they say there was an everyday and every person's type Pope, very humble, a lot of good things that have been said about this person, and even J.D. Vance was sitting across from him, a day before he died. Then he died after that. No comment, no correlation. But suffice it to say, rest in peace to a human being, especially a human being with that type of influence and that type of following. Anybody else want to say something about that?
Yeah, with him being transcendent, are they gonna bring back Pope Benedict?
Oh, he's still alive.
He's still alive. Pope Benedict still here.
He's still rocking.
They escorted him out the door.
Wow.
Escorted him out
no, I didn't know he was still. I didn't know he was still kicking.
He's still around.
No,
they talking about having a black pope. They got like three suggestions for the black pope. They'll have the first black pope.
I forgot to mention that he was the first Latin American pope. So, give him that praise as well. But so what they do is they're going to have a conclave. Mark Carm says he passed away in 2022. So
we said still around.
I think that part which you said about in reference to him being Latin American, the first pope of Latin America, I think that had a lot to do with his politics. You know what I'm saying? Being from the third world, I think that kind of made him a little more aggressive. I think one of the first places he visited when he became pope was this island that was home to like a large African refugee population and stuff. I mean, he did a lot of little progressive stuff. I just wonder if the next pope will be more to the left of him, or if they will track.
Did you see what Mark Carm said? He's from Congo. Donald don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. And real quick, I just want to do a quick little fact check. FYI, the first black pope is recognized as Pope Victor way back in 189, 199 AD, and they say that there was a couple other ones that had some African, inside them, Pope Milades and Pope Iglesias.
Okay.
So from way back.
I never heard that. That's
and
Pope Peter.
Wait, hold on, fellas. And this pope, he also he was the first pope to co-sign, I guess, gay marriage and homosexuals in church, which is a total abomination. So
it was also left-wing politics.
Huh?
It's also left-wing politics, though. I think it's So I just wonder if the next pope, y'all prefer the next pope to be more to the right, like to be, not be to like the LGBTQ.
Be to what the Bible say and what God goes against directly, which is in the Bible, going against homosexuality. I'm just saying.
That's a whole nother discussion. We're not trying to go there. I dispute how that should be interpreted.
No, I'm just saying.
R.I.P. Pope Francis.
There we go. Hey, Walk. Mark Carm wanted to tell you something. If you want to read it. Suffice it to say, let's pivot on to the next thing. We're gonna talk about these Lakers. So since Mr. Student X brought them up prematurely, but yes, our Lakers stumbled the other day. They look kind of lethargic to me.
Last night.
Last night, and they they found a way to be very competitive at the end and just sort of like let it get away from them. But like what's that brother says? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So that's basically what it looked like to me. They just didn't seem like they're ready. Hopefully they'll get it together for Game 4.
Luka had some type of stomach bug, so he was off. LeBron picked up the slack, balled out, but it wasn't enough. Shout out to Timberwolves, they did well. Lakers will get them next game though on Sunday.
Great point there.
Big Cuz said you guys are welcome to join the Warriors bandwagon.
Yeah, that's what I posted up.
Houston about to get the Warriors again tonight.
I want to do joking, cuz.
Right, all right.
But hey, that's a good point you talked about his, because it looked like he kept grabbing his chest. I was like, hey, is he having a medical situation? We need to get him off the floor if that's what it is. But that's what's up. You got something to say about any of this, First Lady J? You just sitting there looking like Alice from the Brady Bunch in the middle, not looking like her. You know what I'm saying?
I stopped watching the game last night when they were down to 1, and I just walked away and just didn't even finish the game.
All right, so then
they'll come back.
You got something to say about that infamous El Poo? About the Lakers?
Go Lakers.
That's positive. I thought you was gonna play the sad song, but so speaking of the Lakers, Mr. Kevin Gates got himself in a little situation with one of the Lakers, talking about LeBron James, saying that that he wouldn't want to be LeBron James because he doesn't like the way that LeBron James' wife looks at him. Like, he loves the way that the white women look at LeBron James, but he hates the way that Savannah looks at LeBron James. Man, I want to give Walk the first bite at this one right here. I guess I put you off guard.
Kevin Gates is a total fucking idiot. And what? Oh shit! Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you.
Yeah, Kevin Gates is a total idiot. Clout chasing, like his word mean any fucking thing. Come on, Savannah James has never been in the news for no bullshit, no sex videos, no NBA player hopping one NBA player to the NFL player, nothing like that. She is an honorable black woman, and they've been together since high school. Quit playing, and they went to prom together. Quit playing. She's an upstanding, beautiful black woman. Kevin Gates, I need that fade when I see you. If I ever see you, you might whip my ass. But I'm going to get mine in. I'm going to get at least 2 or 3 in. You're going to be I'm like,
well deserved. I mean, he's a mother of 3 children. 3 children. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the great irony of his criticism, he's at the Laker game sitting there with Brittany Renner. Now, I don't mean to be judgmental and down on the sister and stuff like that, but with her, background and reputation, I mean, this brother is like looking like the embodiment if turning a hoe into a housewife sitting there trying to complain about LeBron James. I'm just saying, she's on record talking about, 35 bodies and stuff like that. So, I mean, he talking about how Savannah's looking at LeBron James. Brother, she looking at you at least like 36. That's what it is. But, at the end of the day, I think that King James handled it. I shouldn't say King James. LeBron James handled it very, tastefully, just saying that, look, he said the king shouldn't be worried about the peasants. I know that J.D. Vance got in trouble for that, but it was okay with Brown. So, you got something to say about somebody saying some reckless, crazy stuff like that, First Lady J?
I just think it's pure ignorance what he has to say. Long as they're happy, their marriage. Pleasing other people is not my thing. Pleasing my man is my thing. So long as LeBron is happy with Savannah is doing, that's all that matters. I just wanted attention.
Afro agnostics, you got something to say about this?
Well, I agree 110% with First Lady, and even Walt was saying, like, I agree with him. But even if she was hopping around, even if she was promiscuous or whatever, that don't give Kevin Gates a license to become like this public media therapist. Who the fuck is you, man? I mean, like, even it doesn't matter what. Why is that? I think dude himself got a crush on LeBron. That's what it is.
Oh, dude, the way he was talking about it, he's like, he sounded like he had one. Stu, the next, you got something to say about this?
Yeah, man. I have a different take on the whole situation. Except for the fact that Kevin absolutely broke man code, speaking negatively, are really, I shouldn't say negatively, but just on someone else's wife, bringing her in a conversation, especially on the platform that he did. I think that was, out of line. But now since he did it, let's really look at what he was saying. And I'm not sure exactly what he was saying. Let me say that. But then where it seems to me where he was going with is that, there is a stigma, in our community that, sometimes our sisters don't really appreciate, who their king is, and show them that proper attention, affection, and whatnot, things of that nature. And so I think he was alluding to something along that path. But it's just switching subjects real quick. But on the same subject, what I was really impressed with Kevin Gates is, man, he got Brittany Renner, boy, in check, bro. He done switched her up completely. I know she was already on the move towards some positive changes, but that's a tough nut to crack. No pun intended, but he definitely, she appeared to be in love because she done switched up the whole game. So that's it.
She did that before him, but you got something. I see you shaking your head, Mr. Flake.
It wasn't
a host to a housewife.
It wasn't before him. It was because of him. He is the one that she was talking before they was dating. She was dealing with him. Listen, Kevin Gates is somebody who needs to be thrown in the trash. Throw his ass in the trash. He's a despicable. He's a Charleston White. When I see his picture, I keep strolling and click away from it. I don't want to hear what he got to say. He's disrespecting the Muslim religion as a whole. And one day these Muslims gonna come out and speak on his stupidity because he's still married to his wife, who is a Muslim woman, and now he's walking around with Miss Brenner and doing whatever they were doing. He's a despicable person in my opinion, and it pisses me off that he's disrespecting the king, LeBron James, the king of basketball. He's disrespecting him. So, I agree with Jay Walk, Mr. Walk take on it, and I would take that fade with him too. I would do that. Just
a little pushback, Brother Floyd. The thing is, I don't see the Islamic world pushing back at all because, there is much worse things going on in the Islamic world that is not really being talked about and pushed on in that community in and of itself. So where this ranks compared to some of those things, I think it's minute. So I don't see too much pushback in terms of that, situation.
Keep
I just right.
Your motherfucking mouth.
It got kind of distorted. Nice guy.
I said, keep LeBron James' wife out your mother.
I know y'all getting emotional about the brothers, but look, as a men's advocate, I'm telling you, listen to what Kevin was saying, man. Look into the eye of your woman and then see, if that glaze is right. What I'm saying? Kevin, bro.
Let's touch on it a little bit more. He's talking about he wants LeBron's wife to look at LeBron the way white groupies look at LeBron. Is that something to aspire to be as a woman who raises his 3 children? Should she aspire to look like a groupie? Oh, her mouth open and trying to give him the lustful eyes. Is that something to aspire to be, Student X?
What I'm saying right now is nothing wrong with having your wife, see you and only you want nothing but you, and that's it, And then you can look at her eyes and know that's the exact real truth and it's exactly how it goes down. She chose you. And when you get that look, you get that gaze, then you know what it looked like. And so that those that haven't had that gaze, no wonder we seeing some of the challenges we seeing amongst the men in our community. We're gonna talk about Shannon in a second.
Okay,
bro? All type of bad decisions was made.
Let Brother Afro have it. Go ahead, Brother Afro.
I want to interject one time because Student X is suggesting, and this is the problem with. I agree with what he's saying that there's this deeper thought process or this relationship dynamic that he's describing about the relationship between black men and black women, but it's myth. It's based on this notion that it's all based on the notion that there's some deficiency in the black women, and you got to reject that. That's a myth. It's a deficiency myth. Something they lack, something they don't do or do, and up to their standards. And it's very subjective. Look at what Student X said. The gaze. you don't get that gaze. How we even measuring this? I think it's all some, based on mythology.
And how many times are you seeing her? You going off of like one time that he's like, look, I mean, she's looking at him like many hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one glance, but
and then Tony, she won't look at him the same as she was married to him for 20 years either. It's gonna change. That gaze go change. I mean, come on.
I've been married almost 30. You know what I mean? And if the gaze change, then I'm a change. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's just straight up like that. You know what I mean? And then it just is what it is. But when you know. You know what I mean? And then what was that? The Avatar. Remember how they was they had to go pick their dragon to fly on. You know what I mean? And they were saying that, look, you gotta let the dragon pick you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a little tussle and whatnot, and everything, but the dragon gotta pick you and whatnot. And so, like I said, that gaze that Kevin Gates is talking about, he done seen it before, and apparently he done seen it again. You know what I mean? So hey,
Okay.
No Kevin Gates in the trash.
Infamous.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Are we talking about Kevin Gates or Kevin Samuels? Somebody.
Same thing. Same difference.
It ain't the same thing. What are you talking about, brother?
Not the same thing.
Hey, Floyd, fix your screen, bro.
Yeah, Kevin Samuels was more refined. Kevin Samuels was more refined. No doubt about it.
So, what First Lady got to say about the gays? Tell us about the gays, First Lady.
I believe I went to her first, right?
You did come to me. You didn't come to me first, but you asked me what were my thoughts. All I have to say, I just don't understand why he's so focused on somebody else's wife. I'm just baffled about that. Like, why are you worried about somebody else's wife and how she's looking at him? So what if, as Walt called them, the snow bunny or the rice color people, how they're looking at him? They're fans. Let them look. And I hear what you're saying, Mr. Charles X, about the gazing, that you kind of like agree with him, but it's not something that's mandatory. Like, long as they're happy, long as they're in love or whatnot, it shouldn't matter what Gates have to say. I mean, I just feel like he's just somebody that wants attention, like Kanye.
That's it.
But I think too, we got to. Why did he say it? It's to reinforce this mythology. The context. Next is perpetrating too. There's something. Look at the center of it. Black men are playing a victim. We're being, deprived of something. We're not getting something. They're playing a victim. That's like the essence of it, of that mythology. So,
I mean, but
it's not.
Look, if you put this in true context, he was asked the question in terms of, does he envy LeBron James and want to be in his shoes? You know what I mean? Live his life experience, being LeBron. And then ultimately he was saying that, look, man, I'm happy being Kevin Gates, and it starts with, who I'm looking, at, presumably every day, and then, and so he used a comparison. I think he should have found something better to do. He probably agrees in hindsight, you know what I mean? But like I said, since it's out there, we just talking about it, but I don't think it's a deficiency, in a black woman, this and that and other, you know what I mean? But he got another one right now. You know what I'm saying? So
as long as whatever you're saying, as long as it translates to no deficiency in black women and black men being victimized by black women, I agree.
So on that note, Mr. Kevin James, whatever his name is, you owe LeBron James an apology. And speaking of apologies, there's something that have long due. Someone owe an apology. DJVlad finally, got around to taking care of that business. So you want DJVlad? You want to play something?
But man, having the capacity to apologize, is not a weakness; it's an attribute.
Yeah, and let me be clear. I would like to apologize to Minister Farrakhan for misquoting him back in 2020. Period.
There you go.
No ifs, but, or anything else like that. Point blank. Period. This is what I'm doing on your show.
Now that's honorable.
Thank you.
That's honorable.
Boom. Right there. Wow.
It wasn't just me.
I mean,
It didn't seem like that.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, is it just me, or did it seem like that that the brother was like really moved? You know what I mean by that apology? You know that he was like about to shed a tear. You know what I mean?
Let me give you some context. Let me give you some context. Let me give you some context. They're really friends, and they've been talking about this for a long time. So the fact that he finally came around to it and did it, I mean, I think that's what you're seeing. It's but then again, maybe he's giving the gaze that homeboy thinks LeBron James ain't getting. I don't know, but I'm just saying that there's context there. They're really friends, and they've been talking about this the whole time that he owes an apology.
Yeah,
so go ahead, brother Walk. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No.
Well, if you watch the whole thing, you'll see that like Nice Guy saying they was really friends, and what's his name, Vlad, reiterated that they talk more on the phone than they do in front of the camera. And he said that what Vlad appreciated about Willie D was that he boycotted DJVlad's show and not their friendship. So I think that's probably what you see in Student X as far as Willie D being moved or, he looking emotional about it. Because, that's some real shit when somebody disrespect somebody who you respect and revere, but you still value your relationship. So I think that's how it affected me. I got it. And I watched Cam's whole take on it. Cam said he don't accept the apology unless he hears Minister Farrakhan come out and say he accepted. Until then, he don't accept it. Shout out to West Coast Cam.
Hey, man, we all accept Walk, and he disrespects me all the time, so I understand how that is. Go ahead, Brother Walk. What you got to say?
Behind the scenes, nigga. Behind the scenes. But no, this is something. Vlad was hurting in them pockets. He's seeing his numbers going down and the rising of other platforms for black men entertainers to express themselves, like the Art of Dialogue, Capone News, Willie D show, everything. Because I personally have not watched Vlad in over a year. When I see it, I just don't even click on it. Even though sometimes he have guys I want to hear from. But nah, he been hurting in them pockets. And now he apologizing to the honorable Minister Farrakhan.
That's right.
90-some years, never been a sucker like Vlad.
That's right. Hey, Walk, you forgot to mention the Yada Mean podcast. His biggest guest at the time, Lord Jamar.
Everything.
Yeah, that brother still ain't recovered from flat Earth. But what's going on with you, First Lady J? What do you think about DJVlad finally apologizing after all this time?
You know what? It's not about the time that it took for him to apologize. It's the fact that it takes a real man or a real woman to give a sincere apology. So kudos to him for finally making his apology publicly.
What's up? Brother Afro Agnostics, how you feel about this?
Well, let me be clear. I view Vlad, put my biases on the table. I view Vlad as a culture vulture. I look at this as marketing, campaigning to, get his black numbers back up, as Walt said. I think that's what it's really about. And I think, I have problems with his relationship with black culture, just in general. And I think that this is just a campaign. I mean, I don't think it was sincere, and it wasn't really I don't know what did he really apologize for? The misquote or the insinuations about Farrakhan being anti-Semitic? He
misquoted him, and everybody came out saying, "Man, you got to apologize." That he did not say that, and he said something along the lines of, "I'm not going to apologize to him because Farrakhan said this about Jewish people." So he was standing on some BS about. Because of who Farrakhan is, he's not going to apologize to him.
Well, he said he misquoted him. He said he misquoted him, and once he found out that the quote was wrong, he eliminated that segment from his show. But what he didn't do is go on and apologize. And that they were like, "Look, you need to apologize." And then he said, "Look, I'm willing to talk to Farrakhan, have an interview." And people were thinking like, "Oh, you just trying to parlay this into clicks with the honorable, Minister Farrakhan." And what he was saying in the Willie D video, he goes, "Look, I told him, I said, no, we don't have to do it on my show. You guys can film it, edit it, control it, everything. I'm just saying that if I got to apologize to somebody, I want to apologize or deal directly with the person, not like an underling type situation. So, I mean, there was some context to it. But Student X, you got something to say beyond the Willie D shock about it?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would add is just looking at, and I gotta do it, as one of the hosts on Mutant Politics, usually about one Sunday out of the month. But look, on this situation, I'm seeing this like from a broader perspective, because right now, if anyone who's really viewing this situation in regards to Israel and how not only the U.S. sees the Israel, but the world is. It's the numbers have come down drastically, in terms of favorability, drastically. And right now, also the same thing is happening in America in regards to, how people view Jews in America. So I think there are definitely those, among that community that is trying to really make sure that they're not associated with those they don't want to be associated with, And so I think this was strategic on his part to say, hey, I'm not aligned with some of the more radical, hardcore, right-wing, thinking, among, our community, in general, and that's what it is. Simple.
Hey,
right on time. On time.
Yeah. let's bring on somebody who's been on the show before a while back. Everybody loves this brother. When he comes on, he comes with that fire. Let's bring on the Mad Loke.
Wait. Let me tuck my chain. First. Go ahead.
Come on, Mad Loke. Welcome to the show, brother. We are excited and we want to hear your take on this DJVlad apologizing to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. What's your take, brother?
Thank you for having me again. It's good to see my brother Charles, man. He's one of my inspirations right there. It's my boy. I think it's too little, too late. I did a whole commentary on one of the pages I have. Just why now? What was the shift? What was the change that inspired you? The quote that he was using to try to attack our minister was in July 4th, 2020, and here we are like 5 years later, and it was a halfway unsincere apology also, because he made it a point to reiterate that he's not pressured, he's not scared, he's not this and that. But I just, I'm with the whole movement of not dealing with him at all, and he's a culture vulture in every shape, way, or form, and that's just my opinion on that.
I totally agree, Mad Loke. I totally agree with you, brother. That's all I want to say. I totally agree with you. That's where I'm at. Exactly what you said. Because to me, it wasn't sincere. I just feel like his pockets was hurt. You see the numbers. Vlad is a numbers type guy, individual. Remember when Shannon Sharpe was rising after that Cat Williams interview, when he was talking about Shannon Sharpe because he's seen it, and you see what was Shannon Sharpe numbers in how he was elevated. Vlad know when he hurting, bro. And I don't feel sincerity whatsoever with DJVlad. You know what? I am not gonna go back watching that goofy ass, stupid looking white boy.
Infamous El Poo, you got some take on this, my brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna just say this: you don't have to accept the man's apology. Well, I don't know how you feel about the man's apology, but I'll just say it says something about a man that does step up to apologize. Whether you accept it or not, that's on you. But you don't have to support him. You can just say thank you. All right, cool, and just leave him alone. I mean, but it does speak some type of character when you can step up and say, I do apologize. That's all right.
All right, sounds like a good time for a break. You agree with that, Mr. Floyd X?
Yes, sir. Let's go to our commercials, and then we'll come back.
Mad Loke shaking. Tuck the chain out, bro. 6'5", 250.
Prayer Trucking. For all of your trucking needs, call the brother. You saw the number at the end. East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to North. He travels across the country delivering your goods. Call him. The number was at the end of the commercial. Rewind it, watch it, and call him. That was a fast.
Yo, Mutant Politics. I'm not sure when our next one's gonna be, but when it is, it's
next week.
Next week? Oh, we're going live? Okay, well, yo, look, we're gonna figure out the topic and it's gonna be hot, something relevant. So tune in, guaranteed to hear a perspective you might not always hear in our community.
Turn up the dial, it's 10:30. Be back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dive into the history. Samples and stories, old school mysteries. Early self-static, Shiraz, and CBD. No about a ping. Turn it up. Let the.
Yeah, spin that back show. Today, 10:30, we're gonna have we're gonna talk about the Ultramagnetic MCs. And Walk is gonna be there too for some extra flavor.
What's up? Ultramag.
Didn't I create Spin That Back? Y'all left me out the commercial, all that. You talking about Walk gonna be there. Yeah, that's one of my shows.
You left out the commercial? What's the name again? What's the name again?
Like Bobby Brown still over there being about the new edition.
Yeah, right.
Bar and Lounge, 7123 Franklin Boulevard here in Sacramento, California. If you want to go watch the playoff games, go to the bar. They got some good food, good drinks, good environment, secure. They got security at the front and back door most days, most times. So go check them out. It's a great bar, good prices. Hey, what's the sound on that?
You forgot some stuff, man.
One more. This is one more. Tune in to the Focus Up Show every Saturday at 9 a.m. You want to hear what Student X has to say, speak his piece on politics? Tune in. You want to hear Mr. Nice Guy speak his part, First Lady, Brother Afro Agnostic, and Mr. Walk will come with that wild and crazy hashtag, and then guess what? We're going to have the Man Low coming on the show. You tune in Saturday, 9 a.m. Every Saturday. We've been doing this for a very long time. Let's go.
And shout out to gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And to the Brother Walk, Sex Talk with Walk Thursday at 9 p.m. So all right, let's get to the get. First thing up, we're gonna be talking about Mr. Sharpe. Mr. Sharpe. So you want to set the table for this, Brother Walk? I know you're a big fan of of what this brother's doing. Like not.
Well, what this is really, this is just a old big black buck, trying to equal up to white folks. Like that's really how I see it. You know what I'm saying? And he feels like him with these white chicks, he's feeling equal to white men. But anyway, he is too old to be going through this. This is something that I would see like Travis Hunter or somebody young going through with, but this dude is 56 years old. 14 years, he's going to be 70 years old. And he's running around with these young chicks. And it's just, it's crazy. You kind of caught me off guard with it. I'm live on Facebook.
Well, brother, let me help out a little bit, bro. Yeah. So Shannon Sharpe, I think our title is a little off in terms of him making a wrong turn. I don't think he made a wrong turn. I think what he did was he's guilty of not being more proactive as a high value man. He's about to sign $100 million podcast deal, and honestly, I think the true person he's going head to head with is not the female Gabriella Zuniga, but is Tony Busby, the lawyer. And I think his dumb ass, the lawyer, jumped the gun too soon on this case because he should have let this contract get taken care of first, and then go for it. But in general, I thought where Shannon made a mistake was it made him sound weak when he was talking about how Busby is targeting black men. I would have came from the standpoint of saying that, look, this is an attack on yet another high value man. And if you want to throw in the fact that some of them have been black that Busby has gone after, but the nuts and bolts of it is the sound bite they have where he was saying he was going to choke the out of her, and that's where the real situation popped off. So that's just a recap of kind of what I'm seeing. But I want to talk later about just some counsel to high value men. But go ahead, everybody else has the floor right now.
Hey, Gangster Reese, you still there?
The mad low.
And look at and just the allegations alone brought this down. His deal is in question now. He's not going to be on ESPN. He said until the football season kick in, just strictly from a lawsuit, from her words. But the thing is, this been going on for centuries. The master white coat with the slave. He raped me. Oh, lynch his ass. You feel me? It ain't nothing changed. I had a young white woman here before, and guess what? We had a conversation. She left here, and she was kind of upset. And I was like, in question for like 3 weeks, like, am I going to go to jail? And I ain't doing nothing wrong. I just knocked the boots. I'm telling you, that's why. But this was years ago. I'm back, ladies.
Mad Loke, you got a take on this one, brother?
You know what? I feel like given the climate that's going on with our young hero that stood up to the junior Nazi race soldiers out there in Texas and took care of Austin Metcalf from Austin trying to assault any other young black people. I think due to that going on, now we have if you notice now there's an influx of everything else going on to try to build these Caucasians support and so they can point out like, look at them. So the Shannon Sharpe thing came up. There's a video floating around where it's different black people acting. I mean, doing just some weird shit. All of a sudden, it's coming on and it's being all broadcast through social media, building this fever for these mayonnaise mutants to be on alert and be attacking our people. Man, I think this is all orchestrated. My personal opinion.
All right, First Lady J, you got something that you want to contribute to this discussion?
If people will stop putting themselves in certain situations, they wouldn't have to worry about things of these natures. I viewed a few videos that you all have shared. And that last video, I just felt like it was very dumb of Sharpe to make the comment that he made about choking her. Why wouldn't you think your call is being recorded when you're being so, I don't feel anything for what's going on with him. I just feel like he just keep putting himself in a worse situation. He shouldn't even be having contact with her at this point. And especially if you're upset about the allegations and be threatening someone is just as stupid as Diddy video, kicking that girl in the hallway. What he going to say? It wasn't him again he's going to say it wasn't him on the phone. So, I don't feel sorry for him at all. And it's not just about being a black man. It's about, like Mr. X said, you're a high power person. So you should be more mindful about what you get involved with. And, it's not even about his choice of a white woman. It could be a black woman or whatever. Just be more mindful. So I care less.
Don't do that stuff.
I don't do those type of things.
Brother Afro Agnostic, you got to take on this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Make no mistake. This is all about patriarchy. It's all about men in power. This is something that, it's this movie that we've seen over and over. It's a remix over and over again. Maybe Shannon Sharpe this year, another Shannon Sharpe next year. I mean, it's a continuous thing, man. It's about how men in power use that power to sexually, emotionally, physically abuse and assault women. Consider this. Only 2 to 10% of accusations are ever found to be false. So we can look at his history. I guess the only thing that I hate to say this, but in a lot of ways, Corey Holcomb is right. You got to get marginalized women. You got to go far away from women who.
He said more.
You got to get a female brother. No. I mean, if you go do wrong, do it the right way, man. I mean, forget race here. Homeboy, he's just a country bumpkin, man. He's just a football player.
I'm gonna wait for El Pooh and Mr. Nice, but I got to respond to that, brother.
Wait, Mr. Floyd X, you go ahead. You look like you got something to say.
I agree with everything Brother Afro-Agnostic just said. Listen, this Shannon Sharpe situation, I feel bad for Shannon Sharpe. Like, I don't think he did something that's like completely wrong. He was just out there doing some dumb shit. You 56 years old. How you got time to sit on the phone with some female talking like that? Listen, I'm not special, but I never in my life, under no condition, said to a woman, "Don't make me choke you," or "I'm going to choke you." I'm not special, and I'm listening to that like, when does that come up? When you gonna tell anybody that you're gonna choke her, and I'm gonna choke you in public, especially being who Shannon Sharpe is on the trajectory that he was going. Upward, everything was upward. About to sign a $100 million deal, and you dealing with some dumbass 19, 20-year-old dumbass female who gonna get you caught up in some dumb shit? Come on, man. I'm just disappointed.
Now, I hate to say it,
do that
but
overseas.
I hate to say it, but when you hear her response to him, the choking thing, her response sounds very suspect. I mean, it almost sounds role play. I'm not giving her a free pass, but I agree with all you saying that all of this stuff is dumb. I agree with Walk talking about what he chose, the circumstances. But she sounded like he's like, "I'm gonna choke her." I don't want to be choked. I mean, to me, that they should have cut that part out. They shouldn't even put that part out there. But I'm gonna just say this: I really can't really speak on this because I was involved with a lawsuit that was involved with maybe one of the people that we're talking about, and I'm just saying that I have a lot of insight as to far what may be going on. I'm just saying that you just look at the optics of it. You know what I'm saying? This is a terrible situation for him to put himself in, and it seems like it might be a window into the person he actually is.
Oh my God, bro! Y'all are killing me with all this, man. I can't wait. Have we heard? We haven't heard from our brother yet. So, brother, please help talk to him.
Yeah, I only got a couple of things to say. Number one, you should have known better to mess with these white girls. Period. And number two, it's 2025. You see Puffy going through all this old stuff. You know about cell phones and all this old stuff. You talking, and then you're talking about the lawyer. Shut up. Just shut up. You too stupid. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Student X. You're chomping at the bit. What you got to say?
Man, I am. First of all, man, I got to just, throw a shout out to my brother, Reese Lowe. Ain't no doubt about that, man. You know what I mean? That's my brother from another. And, but look, the thing that I'm seeing in all this, there's some facts that you all are missing, and we do this when we get to the politics show because there's some facts you guys are missing, but you all haven't saw her text messages, have you? Because it don't sound like it. Have you all saw her text messages?
I've seen her text messages.
Okay, so when she's talking about, put a big black baby in me, and there's a lot more graphic type of, talking inside of this these text messages, including various role play. Yeah, this is text message from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe.
She said it. She said it. They had a relationship, but again, you can actually rape someone that you've had a relationship with. You can be in a good place with somebody at point A and then be in a bad place with them at point B. A person can still basically violate at a later point, notwithstanding what was agreed to prior to. So you keep talking about the facts. I'm just telling you that you said this is one of these situations. I'll say the Student X, you do look at a lot more information I do. I have some special information that I cannot divulge. Trust me. I got some facts on this situation, so I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying that what
Why you mentioning it?
Because I'm telling you, I'm saying that objectively, it's just bad decision making just to put it out there, just to even to say something like it should have sounded like a setup. You know what I'm saying?
Brother, I hate to say it, but this brother, he did some things that were not right in terms of not being proactive, but he's a victim in this situation. He didn't do nothing but just, go about his business. He messed with this female, ended up being a crazy, broad that wants some money, and then he in this situation, it happens to all type of brothers. But in terms of when you're a high value man in particular, there's some things you got to do, even if you're not high value, man. I say that anytime you're getting into these type of relationships with individuals, man, you got to get an NDA. You got to get timestamp video consent at minimum. You might want to add documented consent and consent to record the whole encounter from start to finish on a closed circuit television. If it's some freaky shit the broad want, then you got to get that drawn up, have a lawyer look it over because they're going to think of some things like potential injuries that could occur during the event. You got to cover yourself. And then when Brother Afro was talking about, what was he saying that to go mess with the marginalized females? Nah, bro, when you high value, it's really the opposite. If anything, go mess with a professional. So when you're going to pay money, that's not going to have problems with signing these documents and whatnot and everything, and then everything going to be kept behind closed door. You know what I mean? So, in general, if you're going to be a high value man or even an older man that want to mess with these young hoes, and I mean like 18 plus to be specific, the main thing is just, you got to proceed with caution, because usually there's some sort of motive that they have, that's something that they want, and if they don't get it, then you could be, put in, you could be compromised, so just, I just want to drop that.
I think your point and my point, they're not mutually exclusive. Either you go to somewhere where people are more marginalized or you pay more. So, options, whatever your choice.
But even the marginalized one, let me tell you, bro, I was around the marginalized, female, you know what I mean? And, I'm talking about, to this day, I never forget it. I'm coming home, from the Bay Area with my wife, about to pull up, about to get a back massage, watch some TV, fall asleep. And I got the whole SWAT team pulling up in front of my house and whatnot, thinking they at the wrong place. You know what I mean? Come to find out, a female concocted a whole completely made up story out the blue, and then somehow that turned into a warrant for my arrest, no bail, and then SWAT team coming, you know what I mean? So it's like even in the so-called marginalized, even in a marginalized situation, it's dangerous. You got to cover your tracks, you got to cover yourself, and make sure you have, information, available to you. Because the only thing that happened to me in this situation ultimately was some silly restraining order that was put on me, and it had no bearing because I wasn't trying to be around this broad at all anymore, period, anyway. You know what I mean? And they said I couldn't have firearms, but, FOI, that's not something that we do, typically anyway. You see what I'm saying? So it was a big deal. But it did keep me out of jail, having evidence and facts and all that type of stuff covering my behind in general. You got to do it.
Let's hear from the man local again. You got some more to add to it, brother?
I agree with everything that's being said. I'm just like, especially what the sister said, man, you should be old enough and wise enough, especially in the position that you're in, to sidestep these frivolous ass relationships. If she wasn't even bad, if you're going to mess with a white bride, get a badass one, man. She's not even bad at all. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with, if I'm going to step out with a white bride, our motherfuckers going to be looking, bro. They be like, damn, she bad. I can understand. But she was basic. Like that picture right there, she pumped her shit up because she's real boy-chested if you look at the other pictures, though.
Ouch.
But that's just my take, man. He should have known better. and all this recording and the big black buck, like my boy Walk said, man, that's real, man, because that's the way they want to portray black men and our people all the time, and then as sexual deviants and predators. So to get caught on the voicemail talking about you gonna choke, man, you was way out of pocket, bro.
Man. Right.
This is gangsta 101. We don't make no threats online, or especially not on text. This is common sense. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only point that I've been making the whole time. I'm just saying that. Look,
he made mistakes. There's no doubt about that. And I like that point that Brother Reese brought up, and just in general, just in talking about that. Look, there is a narrative being promoted, and we talked about it before last week, and even on the pre-show, is that there's a narrative being pushed because there's a lot of dissatisfaction with government from the last administration and this administration, and so right now the whole thing, this narrative being pushed is creating this black-white narrative real heavy right now through the media, because even in Texas, there was a whole nother incident that wasn't even covered, where it was a white boy or a Mexican child that stabbed a white boy. That's no coverage on that situation, at all. And it's very similar to what's going on, with the Karmelo Anthony.
Well, real quick, let's speak on our opinion as far as does Shannon Sharpe still have a good future. I want to play this clip real quick from our brother Mason Camden that was speaking on Stephen A. Smith. He released a clip talking about this situation, and this is just Mason's perspective of it, and then we'll talk about it.
Stephen A. said something about this already?
Yeah, because Stephen A., he didn't stand with Shannon Sharpe like he stood with Jay-Z. When he heard about Jay-Z, he said, the guy I know, this is not true. When it came to Shannon, he was like, I wasn't there.
All right. Do we feel like that picture's funny? Do we feel like Shannon Sharpe has a future? I mean, I believe that future, but what is y'all perspective? What's your take on it? Let's start with Mr. Walk. Come on, Walk. What you got to say?
I feel he don't have a future. I feel he does not have a future. This is really hurting him, and it's going to show throughout the years, because this is a stigma that's going to follow him throughout the years. No one's going to touch him, especially ESPN. That's Disney right there, baby. Disney, the kids, what we were talking about earlier, Mickey Mouse and all that shit. I think it's kind of over for this brother. Yeah, and that's why I'm covering up, because I don't even want to talk about him, because I don't want to focus up the show associated with Shannon Sharpe.
Like that.
And look what happened to Jonathan Majors for less. You know what I mean? In terms of evidence.
What's your take on his future?
Yeah, but I mean, his future, it's just gonna cost him money. It's not done. He's not done, but this is gonna cost him some money. The question is gonna be how much. And so at this stage of the game, he's gonna be minimizing his losses at this stage. So we'll see what happens.
Come on, nice guy. What you think, brother?
Check this out. Look, I don't think he's not going to be facing anything criminal behind this. All these texts, they're going to show that they had a very, adult but deviant, relationship type of thing. I mean, she was into a lot of crazy stuff. He was into a lot of crazy. There was two grown ass adults doing that type of stuff. Did he do some stuff that looks kind of funny? Absolutely. But I mean, it's going to come down to your word versus their word. And I mean, this is all going to come down to money. In the beginning, he's going to have to be kind of shelled for a little bit. But he's gonna recover from this. This ain't gonna be, this ain't gonna be.
There's video.
First lady.
Grown-ups doing grown things.
First lady. What's his future, First Lady?
I don't think his future is gonna be what it could have been.
Ooh.
But he will still. Everyone still has a future. It just, he just got to pick himself back up. There's a lot going on, even with the consensual stuff, but it's that audio for me. Like, just what an idiot. That audio can be taken in a different way. He has a future, just not the future he could have had.
Damn, just like that. Brother Afro.
They hiring at Lowe's.
I think it's gonna, deeply impact financially, his future, and that's, the basis of, your career in a lot of ways. It, it may take time for him to build himself back, but, options here, things that, the advice that I was given was legal advice. It wasn't moral advice. I just want to be clear. You either, every option is risk. You get a marginalized person here domestically, you get someone abroad, the more, be a PayPal brother. If you go do wrong, do it the right way. This is something that men have been doing. And, I think it's, it just occurs and it happens. That's the legal advice. The moral advice is something else.
Cool. All right. Who did brother? Mad Locust on. All right.
He's not lying down in the bed.
Brother El Pooh, what's your take? His future.
Oh, Shannon, damn Skip.
Infamous, where you at?
My mouth closed. I don't know what my future gonna be now. So I'm gonna shut up from now on.
Man, I wish what we should have talked about him was he was willing to settle that $10 million.
That's a big deal. That's not nuisance money. That's not nuisance money, by the way. I'm just letting you know. $10 million is not nuisance. That's not nuisance money. But if you have a lawsuit, nuisance money is like some people will sue you, and you're just like, I just want to pay them to make it go away. So just like nuisance value, just like I'm not admitting to this. I just want to sweep this under the rug, like whatever. $10 million is a big deal. I'm just saying that's not like a nuisance.
Yeah, that's too much. He did the right thing. You can't warrant that hoe, bro. Look, the thing is, one of her text messages, he had many. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're me. You know what I mean, bro? We could go on and on, bro. Like I said, he's being shook down. He made some amateur mistakes in this endeavor, thinking that probably she was just young and not capable of this, you know what I mean? But, hey, we live and learn.
But I think that analysis misses the power relationship, the power dynamic in a relationship that usually goes on with men in these institutions. You know what I'm saying? You're saying if he's doing wrong, I think that's the issue that needs to be highlighted. But if legally do it the right way, and you won't get into any legal consequences.
Hey, Mr. Floyd X, before
it was consensual, bro. I don't know what you're saying. This is consensual.
But these
allegations, two people that said, "Okay, we gonna do this." You know what I mean? And then they both was like the brother said, they was into some freaky stuff and whatnot and everything.
Student X. You can have consensual things going on, and then things that you don't consent to. A woman can agree to have sex with you, but you go into anal sex, and she's like, "Look, I'm not with anal sex." So I'm just saying the fact that you have some consent doesn't mean you have.
But I understand all that, and that's why I said that that when you're a high value man, you need to get things documented in advance and whatnot. That's going to define what's in bounds, out of bounds, just so there's no argument about it.
You presupposing that that you didn't do anything wrong. Presupposing that, why do that?
Yeah, I would check down.
I'm absolutely. This is a little 19-year-old girl that you guys admit that's not the baddest in the world. You know what I mean? But linked up with a high profile, high value, highly famous, man. She was willing to do whatever. You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
Hey, student next. Before we flip out of this, let's briefly address the Kanye type of situation. We'll just go into a little bit of overtime.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Ye put out this tweet, saying that basically he was exposed to some pornography very early in the game, and that he and his cousin, a male cousin, from a very young age, started reenacting these things, and he basically been doing that from 6 to 14.
Here go the tweet right here. The song is called Cousins. It's about my cousin that's locked up in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we won't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps my self-centered mess felt a way, showed him these dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found on top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Jay, and I sucked till I was 14. That's the tweet.
Yeah. So he says that he's not gay, and to me that could very well be the case. But if you were 14 and doing that, and you were doing it like of your own volition, I think at 14 you probably were. But again, I'm not judging him for that. That's his business. I think that Kanye, I mean, that brother is going through it. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what help he can get it. I get it, and that's fair. I mean, he does some judge-worthy stuff, but I'm just saying that this dude is screaming for help. You know, go ahead, Walks. Say what you got to say.
I'm judging him. I think he's lying. I think he's making this whole shit up. That's why you see my shit. I say, fuck Ye. Ye just an attention whore. Everything he say and do is all about attention for his brand. He lost all that money years ago. Now he's trying to get it back. He done talked about Jay-Z, the Jay-Z children. Come on, bro. This dude is just an attention whore. I'm not buying it. And where's the cousin at? Who he talking about? That's in jail, and then you throw him under the bus and nigga doing a life sentence? Then you gonna get him fucked up in there talking about now he gay molesting people. Man, fuck Kanye West.
Go ahead, First Lady.
Lady J was right.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You don't like about.
You know what? Walk said pretty much a lot that I have to say. I always say that he's an attention seeker. My thing is that the world, the public, whomever, everyone is giving him just what he's looking for, the attention. If you ignore the bull crap that he puts up, then he won't get the attention that he's seeking. You know, he's beyond ADHD. Yes, there's some mental stuff going on. I have so many questions because of the magazines. You know, you guys were saying that the magazines of the two men belong to the mom. How you guys know that they didn't belong to the dad and he just stored them on the mom's side of the closet? That's one of the things that
he said Playboy. He said Playboy magazines.
I read the messages clearly. The dads had Playboy and the mom had a different type of magazine. So that different type of magazine, because why does the mom want to watch two men instead of two women or something? So I'm thinking maybe those are dad magazines that were hidden. And, you know, it's so much to say. Even the cover that he has for Cousins, you have a swan penetrating a woman, just like sickening. Like, so obvious this man has a lot of mental issues going on, but he's definitely an attention seeker. I can care less about Kanye. I feel sorry as far as him having a mental issue, but if we all keep entertaining his bull crap, it's just like Trump. For those people that are not fans of Trump, they kind of do the same type of stuff. You know, we don't have to go to a circus when we have Kanye and we have Trump. They're right there giving the entertainment that everyone that's looking for. So it's the like-minded people that's going to keep following, digging into what Kanye is doing. I don't dig. I don't follow until you guys send something and post. I'm like, I got to do this. I already know what I said about Kanye. I'm just being a team player, but I'm not going to keep giving people unnecessary attention that they don't need. It's a waste of my time.
Just to reiterate what the first lady said about it.
We might need to do one of these about Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
First lady said about him, he could sit and twirl on something particular. And that was
I said what I said, and hey, look, hey, you know.
So brother, go ahead, First Lady. All right, but brother agnostic, you next, and then we're gonna say the last word for the man low. So you gonna have the last word, the man low. But go ahead, brother Afro.
Well, I think Kanye is just he's using social media as therapy when he really just needs to go get some therapy. You know, like I mean, these are things you tell to your therapist. You know what I'm saying? Not to like the whole world. You know, I'll speculate on the context of the situation. You know, incest, has, it occurs in families, 14 years old, and because I think he suffers from Christian guilt, he's an evangelical, he appeals to the same base, Jay brought appeals to Trump. And, when you have that, a love for pornography and things, pornographic or considered bad in Christian theology, you suffer, you have this, man, get some therapy, man.
Mad Loke, the floor is yours, brother.
I think Kanye has been compromised to the highest level of being compromised. It's fucked up to see the brother just fall from grace and deteriorate like that mentally and emotionally and full public eye. You know what I mean? And it's, but you know, he has his mental breakdown and he crashes out, but then we see acts and behaviors of brilliance every now and then. But then it goes back to that weird shit, man. I think he needs to get back. We need the old Kanye back. He needs to probably move out of California. If he's in California, he needs to go back to Chicago, be around his people and be around the old neighborhood and get back to the essence of what he once was, because he's lost. And that's just bad. I didn't want to read or listen or hearing of that stuff that he talked about. I had bits and pieces of it, but it's like, wow. And I understand stuff like that happens. It happens a lot within, you know, across the spectrum with different people. But come on, man, this dude is tripping. And it is what it is, man. He's compromised, and I hate that for him. That's it.